Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to bring the July 23rd, 2024 Greater Clark County School Board Trustee meeting to order. Ms. Markowski, all board members are present and accounted for and happy tonight. And if you all would please stand and give the second pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item would be the approval of the agenda. Board, I move to approve the agenda as presented. Could I please have a second? Second. Thank you, Mr. Freeman. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining. Next item would be public comments. I don't believe we have any public comments. So we're going to move on to goal strategy, student achievement. Ms. Hubert, how are you?
Great, Mr. President, respected members of the board, hope everybody's feeling well tonight. I brought, as you noticed, in these 4 items, all of our monthly reporting to the forefront because June is a very important time where we set the tone for the budget, as you well know. So we look at the 18-month period, these next 6 months and the next 12 months for the 25 budget. So on your place settings is the calendar that has been set. So the budget presentation will be September 10th. And in there, we will go through this information and you'll start making sense on how it flows into the budget. So the major fund monitoring report, we ended June in the education fund with a $9.8 million balance, which is more than what we ended last year. The purpose of having that balance there is twofold. We came back to the teachers to give their increase, plus we are preparing to increase our budget needs as we continue to grow. We are going to prepare reserving appropriations for our future growth in the district. So we'll do that over time, so that way we take this state money and make sure that I ask for that. Now remember, education fund is state funds strictly based on number of students. So I help go through and I raise those appropriations for you so we are prepared for the additional students that may come into the district. Your operations fund, we ended at $9.3 million. Last year it was $6.3 million. If you recall in previous budget presentations, the appropriation and operations fund was way too low for the size of the district. You think of the number of buses that we have to run for all of our children, and our property insurance, just like everybody else is going, utility bills. We do see significant savings here, and we will be protecting this fund very intently because there will be a time where we want to do our replacement maintenance plan on anything, so that way we can keep our facilities nice, not deliver them in the fashion that they would want to receive them. Your debt service and pension fund, those balances are very traditional. We have 6.7 in debt service and 340,000. In December, we will receive another distribution of taxes, and you will be paying that pension debt off. Therefore, this report will condense down. So that's a big milestone because this was a state requirement many, many years ago. And finally paying that debt off. So congratulations on that. And then your rainy day, if all of the resolutions are approved, you will have $10,630,000 in that fund. Are there any questions on the major fund report? I would have to answer. Hearing none, Mr. President, may I move on to the treasurer's fund cash balance report? Okay, you will see your major funds, and of course, we will look at the areas here that I want you to focus on, and there's very specific reasons. If you first off, let's talk about the food service fund. We will go through that report. You can see as of June, it ended up with $3.6 million. There's some very specific changes that will be coming about this fund. So when we get to our food service report, you will see that. For many, many years, you were $600,000 in the hole, remember? So we've done a fantastic fantastic job of getting it right to where it needs to be, keeping enough money in there to handle 3 months worth of expenses, which is what we were allowed to do. And we have a capital improvement plan, which is what you're supposed to do with excess beyond 3 months of expenses. So that fund is very helpful. The other is your curriculum materials. Also was 0 to almost nothing, and now it sits at $3.7 million. What's significant about this is that we do not charge for textbook rental, okay, which is we were heading down anyway as a district. However, the state stepped in and said, we're going to do this for everyone, which is fantastic. So now there's some specific rules. Curriculum material will be bought out of your education fund because the state will be distributing to school districts every December the amount that is allotted to them for textbook rental from the state. So that's state. Okay. The instruction is to receive it into the education fund every December. Now, go back to the top there, and you see that you ended 9.8 million. So if we add your 3.7 million, it's gonna look like you have this huge cash balance. What I intend on doing is on this particular report, you're gonna see the education fund is 101. You see that all the way to the left. You're gonna see a 102 there. But for state reporting purposes, we will crosswalk that right into the state reports as education fund. Because I need to know what that dollar figure is always, and continue to have a purchase plan on curriculum material, and it's not subject to negotiations. Okay? And of course, I would want to be able to tell the union because they see the Form 9, which you're signing off on because you submit that June and December, they will see the June Form 9. Right now, we'll have the 9 million in there, okay? And we agreed that our balance should be 6.7 million, but as we increase our budget, of course, that 10% continues to increase. But we agreed on 6.7. It still is within the 8 to 10% area. But remember, we gave the raises to the teachers, so you see that we built it so that we can handle that. They will also, December, when they start looking again, or the following June, they're going to see an increase of 3 million. They're going to understand that because they're going to be able to look at this report and always see it at any given moment. So that way we're very open with what we have here. And when we do spend money on curriculum material, there is already a spot that's in education fund that I have reserved for some of that. But this will now show up in, that's where I can do it for budget, for the state budget. But when we expend it, we will expend it out of that fund that we crosswalk to the education fund. Does that make sense? Because I just want to kind of keep that separate. So that way we still can maintain our textbook rental area. The rest, we're doing very well. You'll see less res. We're monthly getting our reimbursements, so we're doing quite well there. If there's any questions on this report, we'd be happy to answer those. Hearing none, Mr. President, may I move on to bond activity report? As of June 30th, we still have all of our series. The things I do want to point out to you is the Franklin Square series. We finally we're on target to have the synthetic turf installed in the one area and have shades put over that. We've been holding off on the shades until the synthetic turf gets put into the playground. If you remember, it's in that corridor, and we have playground equipment, and we took out the rubberized playground flooring and put in not the hard floor, it's a rubberized floor, but not the little walls, it's a solid floor. Therefore, we can allow for wheelchair access and that kind of thing, so we're happy with that. But I couldn't put shades on there until I get the synthetic turf. That will be worked on starting at the end of this week, and should be done before the beginning of school. Moats Group, which we've done a lot of business with, understands that urgency, and they donated the material, but the playground will be paid for. So we will be getting this particular fund and trying to spend it down. Because of how bond money is invested outside of us by our trustee, I'm having to order arbitrage, which means you get more interest than you're technically allowed, because you're not allowed to really make money. You're allowed to get interest, but you're not allowed to make money. All that means is that they just hold interest back, and I wouldn't be able to make money with that. So we're going to be spending hard and intense on these bonds as much as we can. A lot of activity that will be going on, but you know, as to be expected, we have a lot of the construction that's really rolling now. Our soccer fields, you know, we're always taking care of our HVAC parking lots. And you should notice that our parking lots are getting well taken care of with striping and working around meetings and that kind of thing. So Liz has been very good about working with our training sessions because they get very large and have a lot of parking, so they have to hold off, and weather kind of affects that. So these bonds, the last one was the 2024 that we recently received a couple months ago. So we are going to have a walkthrough at JHS on bathroom renovation with the core team, so that way they can get everything, the lay of the land on that. It will not be long that we will be working on soccer field and auditorium. The auditorium will go first, getting that design as a renovation. Plus, this fund also handles any other emergency equipment and expenses that we're still seeing in the district because you still have to take care of your buildings. So we're doing that, hitting that pretty hard. We've spent $1.5 million already out of that, which is a good thing. So that way I don't get that arbitrage. Are there any questions? We are getting lower. You can see on the 2019, we're getting lower with $650 there. There is a PO that's in reserve right now there. That is for the Charlestown gymnasium. That has been a very tedious process. That also appears in another portion of a bond. I'll probably release that because there are needs within that bond that I can take care of other things because I should be able to cover that floor with another bond. So that'll be released out and we'll be able to get some of these closed out for you so the report starts getting shorter. But of course, we have our 5-year plan, you know, we'll grow back.
So you had said that we're allowed to make money, but we can't collect interest. What was that?
You can collect interest, but you're not allowed to make profit. Meaning, if you get,
Wouldn't interest always be a profit?
it is, but there is a limit on how much you're allowed to get with. So when you sell your bonds, there's a particular rate that you are paid back.
Right.
So as long as you are equal in that world, it's great. But when it goes to the trustee, like to the bank, and they go out and invest it, they do give us a portion of that in form of interest. But they should only be giving me this much. They don't know that. They give me the whole thing, which takes me over what I'm allowed to. That little overage is called arbitrage.
And then where does that go?
They just don't give it to, they just hold it in another account and then it goes back into the bondholders and investment. Yeah.
That doesn't seem fair.
I know.
That's
Yeah.
all.
Schools can't be profitable. We're a non-profit. So,
And I get that. That just seems like,
I know it seems like.
it just seems like it's kind of unfair that you need it. It would be it's a little skin off there. You know.
We do get a great return from our
Wherever they need
trustee.
skin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as I'm spending the money on a nice routine, because they don't want you just to get money and just gain interest and then charge the taxpayer for whatever.
Gotcha.
That's not what they want. You know, just hold on to it. So, but sometimes when you are doing the project, you're spending it as fast as you can. But the market is so good out there at times. Now we've seen the market go down, right?
Right.
We've seen that kind of go down the last week or two. So all that does affect us as well, because bondholders are you and I who've gotten
Right.
annuities and things like that, you know, that's how that money all gets flowing through the market. In layman's terms, now we get real technical, but
No.
that would be super technical,
Yeah.
to tell you how to do that.
But no, thank you. That clears that up. I just,
Right.
makes no sense.
I know, I wish I could just keep it all, to get handle a lot of things. Final thing tonight is the food service fund. This is one school year. So you can see that in a school year, we have spent $5.8 million, almost $5.9 million. And we received in 6.1. We've met our threshold with Aramark according to their contract. Our monthly average expense then in a school year ranges between $498,000 and $500,000. We've seen it range in that area. We're only allowed to keep 3 months of that, so that equates to $1.472 million. That's the only amount that we're allowed to keep. We can spend it, where we need to, but if we want to protect the fund, that's the cash balance I'm allowed to keep. Therefore, it leaves $2.2 million. Now, we're seeing additional expenses in there because we are renovating the Jeff High cafeteria. So the kitchen area will be done by this Friday, so I'll be paying that all off. The next phase is where the kids all sit, the flooring and all that good stuff. So that'll be a whole new cafeteria for them, a new experience. But here's a new rule. This report will remain the same. I will still monitor it for 3 months because we do have a good mechanism on keeping that cash balance and planning a capital plan on our cafeterias. Once we get some of that capital done within the district, then I will be allowed to keep 6 months worth of expenses. And knowing that if we need to spend on our cafeteria, we always do. But the 6 months expenses can stay in. Now, what I want to tell you is on this report, I will keep track of both. The benefit of keeping 6 months expenses is that we do not have to prepare a capital plan for the state. If I ever felt that we were getting too low on a 3-month expense carry for cash balance, definitely I would be pushing for the 6 months. So Beverly and I will be monitoring that because we already have a capital plan in place. We've already submitted to the state. I have no problem submitting to the state our capital needs, one we know. So we'll be monitoring about that. So we'll be adding a column at the bottom that says, one says as of June 24, I'll label that 3-month expenses. The other side will be 6 months expenses, and we can see what that is. Are there any questions there? Hearing none, I am complete with your finance report tonight.
Thank you very much. Okay, next item would be the consent agenda as presented. Board, I know we've all been through it. Is there a motion for approval?
Mr. President, I move we approve the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Paul. Do I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Hutchinson. Any questions or comments? I just want to mention one thing, that number 7, I understand the Clark County juvenile probation, so that will be shared with our resource officers and our administrators in a confidential manner. Yeah, so that should be
Allows us to collaborate with them.
yeah,
And share.
and they'll be able to, they'll maybe perchance send someone that they've known the individual needs to see to the school.
Yes.
Okay.
They, for the most part, I think they've gotten away from actually holding office hours in the schools.
Right.
Like they used to a few years ago.
Right.
But they could, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, okay, that just question. Okay, all right, having a motion and a second, all those in favor of the consent agenda as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. All right, turn the corner, gift buildings.
This is the 3rd meeting in a row there is no gift.
Somebody hack up a 5 or something, come on.
Give me money.
All right, we're going to move on to the action items. The first one is the memorandum of understanding with the city of Charleston SRO services. Dr. Howard, how are you? Good to see you.
Good, good evening, board. This MOU is for the city of Charlestown. They will provide 2 SRO officers who are Charlestown Police Department officers. They will service our schools at Charlestown Middle School, Jonathan Jennings, and Pleasant Ridge. As part of the renewal, Greater Clark agrees to pay half of the salary costs and benefits. They will remain a city employee, not a Greater Clark employee. And they'll also be there to provide the DARE program, not to cost more than $3,000 a year. We'll also cover any overtime for after-school events for safety and those types of things. The portion from Greater Clark County Schools will be $88,804.66 for the 24-25 school year.
Perfect. Board, do I have a motion for the approval of the MOU with Charlestown and SRO Services?
I will make that motion, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Perkins. Do I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Mustaine. Any questions or comments for Dr. Hartledge? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstained. Okey-doke. Mr. Rick, good to see you again.
All right. So these various resolutions get you a position in June, so there are 3 of them, and I'll be asking President to request a motion to approve all 3. So, excuse me, these 3 resolutions are supported by Indiana Code 36-1-8-5.2. That's the transfer of rainy day funds. There are parameters in that. The second is Indiana Code 20-42-4 to fund any unfunded liability and retirement. And Indiana Code 20-26-17-2 and Code 5-10-8 to transfer funds into your self-insurance fund to support that. We've begun that process to minimize the impact initially on the district because we were in a situation. Now it has come twofold to benefit our employees. Okay? So I will read the 3 requests, one for each, and then I will ask the president for him to ask for a motion. I respectfully request that the Board of Trustees approve the resolution to transfer funds to rainy day in the amount of $500,000. This will be issued from the Education Fund. This will be receipted into rainy day as of June 30th, 2024. I also respectfully request that the Board of Trustees approve the resolution to transfer funds to Retiree Service Fund in the amount of $100,000 that will be issued from the Operations Fund. This will be receipted into the Retiree Severance Liability Fund on June 30th, 2024. I respectfully request that the Board of Trustees approve the resolution to transfer funds to the self-insurance fund in the amount of $300,000 that will be issued from the Education Fund. This will be received in the self-insurance fund on June 3rd of 2024. Mr. President, I am asking that you ask the Board of Trustees for a motion to approve all 3 resolutions.
Board, I'd like to move that we approve all 3 of these resolutions presented by Ms. Schumer. Can I please have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Any questions or comments? I just would like to say, we talked before. I did ask her to put all 3 of those together. I hope that's okay. So I just want to let you know that. I appreciate it. Okay. Any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstained.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Board comments? Mr. Jones?
I'm good.
Good deal. Hutchinson?
I hope everybody has a great practice going.
Mr. Paul?
Just some interesting thing I noticed when I was doing some research. I looked at the state of Indiana overall and was, pretty pleased. We, depending on the source, we will rank somewhere about in the middle as far as expenditures devoted to public education, somewhere about 27. But it's also fun to see that our students were outpacing that, coming in somewhere about 17. So my challenge now is let's get our legislators put the money there up to about 17 and see where our students can go from there.
Awesome. Nice work, right? Any other, additional things? Mr. Freeman, how about you?
Yeah, if you have not done so, please, if your child needs transportation, contact Mr. Borders in the transportation department and get all that paperwork filled out and get assigned to your correct bus. Thank you.
Awesome. Ms. Perkins?
Yeah, I think I have a correction. On the, I didn't see it until just now, on the action item number, memorandum of understanding with the city of Charlestown, it's just in the background information. We left out part, the word part. It says, as part of renewal, GCCS agrees to pay the salary costs of the officers. We're agreeing to pay part of the salary.
We updated that. It's correct.
It's updated?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. I guess I'm just not updated. Thank you.
What was I gonna say? Mr. Freeman, I know, I can tell from the bottom of my heart that Daniel Borders will be happy that you told everybody to come here. I had no doubt in my mind that man's probably home going, there's my guy.
I said, and the transportation department, he said.
Well, yeah, no, the other person.
That would be Daniel.
Anyway, I've got nothing to say with T's Keith. That's all. Everybody, great back to school.
Well, I'll add to what Mr. Freeman said, parents, please register your kids, because we still have a lot of kids that have not been registered, you know, and a lot of parents put that off, put it off, and it helps to get it done ahead of time. Don't wait till the day or two before. I also want to thank the Jeffersonville Redevelopment Commission in terms of the bus that finally came in. You know, really looks good, graphics, we appreciate their support. You know, the last couple of days have been busy for us. Yesterday, we had our administrator back to school meeting yesterday at the Fetter Center all day. The principals, assistant principals were really happy to be back. We probably had 100 people in the room, I think. And then today, we had our building leadership team meeting over here at Utica all day long. So to really try to set the tone of what we expect for this school year in a lot of different areas, not just academically, but what's going on in facilities and climate culture and all those things. So, so far, we're off to a good start. Both days were really good, and everybody was happy to be back.
Good deal.
And tomorrow, we are excited to welcome approximately, you could change by tomorrow, 85 new teachers to our district. So we have a great day planned for them, and we're proud to have secured that many to come to our district, and excited to get to know them and give them a little bit of orienting tomorrow and welcome them to our district.
Is that here?
Well, it's going to be next door now because there's so many.
At Utica Elementary? Okay.
In the cafeteria.
Okay.
Wow, that's awesome. Anybody else? Okay, well, I need a motion for adjournment, please.
I'm going to adjourn.
Thank you, Ms. Hutchinson. Second, please.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Perkins. All in favor?